Is it, I don't, this didn't come with, you have to unmute. None of us can hear you. Okay. No, it's not on mute. You hit the mute button. Which button? Here. I'm 76. I'm going to be 77 soon. Real soon. Yes, we can hear you now. That's good. Can you still hear me? No, that's good. That's okay now. Thank you. That's great. Okay. If I go down, if my voice goes down, just let me know. Your nanny's turning 70? Well, I'm going to be 77. Now, my husband is dying. He has kidney disease, which is supposed to be the easiest way to die. He had cancer his cancer grew around the other kidney, and that was 2 years ago. So he, yeah, he got 2 more years to live because the doctor took out his other kidney. What I really wanted to talk to you about was being yourself. Not so much frying. Yeah, frying a freak flag. No. Um, just, for me, it's a freak flag. It may not be for you. Um, Not everybody wants to have purple hair or, you know, be weird. But, however, we are never like everybody else. Oh, thank you. Um, he went into hospice, and so far that seems terrific, really helpful. I mean, there are things about Medicare. In fact, I think Medicare is great. It's not perfect, but it's really tremendously helpful. I remember before Medicare existed and how it was. It was hard and getting harder, and this is so much easier. Um, we moved from Philly to Delaware to a big house, which I probably will not be able to manage for myself. But yeah, it is a well, it's really a three-story house. It's a single house, and it was not more expensive than we could afford because it's not in an expensive neighborhood. So we happened to get one of the houses with the biggest property, and I dug up and planted a four-season garden in the back. It stays green all year because I purposely planted stuff that will stay green. Uh, we got we got some strange neighbors. Um, you never know what you're going to get when you move. You can get people. You can move into an apartment. They bang on the ceiling with the what do you call it? The sweeper and broom. Um, One time, our cousin lived downstairs from us in an apartment, and sometimes you can really care for a person, but being too close to them is awful. Um, he took I don't know how he had a painting of mine. Maybe I gave it to him, um, and slashed it. Uh, now I throw paintings out in the trash. I wanted to burn them. Don't you think that would have been fun? I think so. But I paint in oils. That's what I really did. I started going to art school when I was 13. Um, and then I had a scholarship for the Pennsylvania Academy of Fine Arts, which is great if you live in the Philadelphia area. It's a classical art school. Um, and you know, I mean, they don't teach anything but art. And if you want your degree, you go to either Penn. They didn't have Penn when I went. I went to University of the Arts, It was great. I used to walk up and down Broad Street. My father was alive. I went and had lunch with him, and my cousin. No, my cousin didn't come down at that time, but it was really neat. They had those snorkel jackets at that point because until then I was always freezing, and we used to get lots and lots of snow and ice and ugh. So with a snorkel jacket, I would walk down to University of the Arts, which was about, I don't know, a mile and a half down the road, and fool around and stuff. And that was an old, they both were old buildings. The Academies was built by Frank Furness. And the other one, though, was like you had to walk through a, did they teach you how to do what? What was the thing? What they did was we had naked models, and when I started, and we just drew them, painted them, and you learned. I think in the first year, but they didn't start me out in the first year. I was 23 when I started. Who the hell is Frank Furness? He's some architect that's really famous for the buildings he built in the 19th century. People make a big fuss. I don't know. Looks okay to me. The building is nice. The University Arts building, though, was kind of a mess because you would walk through. I walked through. People were standing there naked, posing, and other people were drawing, and then people who had to go up the downstairs or down the upstairs would have to walk through. It was really wacky. It was funny. Did they teach you how to draw at art school or historical information? I took I pushed my teachers to at the University of the Arts to let me take archaeology. They didn't know anything about archaeology, but I was annoying, and like pushed. I really want to take it. Can I really take it? I really want to take it. I'll do blah, 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 blah. And I did. I went and I went to different places in the Philadelphia area, and I loved it. I studied the red and black figured Athenian pottery, which just was fun. I really like history. It's like if you like comics, it's not a big deal. Doesn't make you smarter. I don't know what makes you smarter. I don't know. It doesn't matter what makes you a better person. Being honest, and being honest with yourself. Really, that is ultimately the most important thing. How much? It didn't cost me anything. I had a scholarship. It paid everything, including lunches. So I don't know, but I can guarantee you it didn't cost anything like it would today. The courses, I kind of ran out of money at the University of the Arts. I had to take some courses from Philadelphia Community College because the other school was just too much money. So I did, and they were fine. What did I take? I took film. I took French. Then I dropped French because French was hard. Now I'm sorry because it's a beautiful language, and I like watching movies from France. So I can't tell you how much it costs. Graduate school, I think, was like $700 a course, which sounded like tremendous years ago, but now it's more. I think it's horrible, and it's not right. You just end up owing hundreds of thousands of dollars. My daughter-in-law, I don't know if she's still paying it off. My brother was, because he went back to school. I think he was 40, went back and became a special ed teacher. And he just paid it off. I mean, he's 70. It's crazy. They'll take your Social Security. It's not right. What, you're not supposed to eat? I guess not. They don't care. I mean, it's a company. The companies do not give a shit about you. Not any company. I don't care. Insurance, no. They came out, we had this tremendous flood in the kitchen. And, well, the first time we had this flood in actually coming in the front door. and they sent out this gorgeous young guy. He came in, but we were two old farts. We're not, like we weren't going to see him and like say, "Oh my God, you're so gorgeous. Can I have your phone number?" He wouldn't give us his phone number. I mean, he was this handsome young guy. So okay, so he could have fallen on the friggin' floors. They were so bad because the water had gone under the floors. To him, everything was fine. Oh yeah, it's fine. You old folks, you should be dead. What do you need good floors for? So the next time they sent out a guy with a cowboy hat, and he looked like an old hippie. So he looked like, oh yeah, I could talk to him. Um, I was at the demonstrations for the Vietnam War, actually against it. Um, I am an old hippie. So this guy wasn't. He just didn't. I'm an old lady, so he didn't listen to anything I said. And he acted like what I said didn't matter. He said, when I said, look, the ceiling, the water came through the ceiling. He said, that's old. I said, no, it's not old. It just happened. That's old. I'm saying it just happened. He says it's old. Um, then I took him in to see the water that came through where the window is in the kitchen. And he says nothing about the window. He looks at the people before us built this beautiful sunroom that I used as a studio. I don't know what's phenomenal. I don't know. But anyway, he looks at this piece of wood in the corner there and says, "See, you didn't fix it." I said, "That's 17 years ago. That leaked. 17, we fixed it then, 17 years ago." Ignored what I said. And the supervisor agreed with him. And they said, well, contact the state. I did. And the state doesn't do anything. Nothing. So, and I didn't want to go to court. I'm too old and too much is going on. So anyway, that was Liberty Mutual. So I am going to switch. I don't want them anymore. I know they're all like that, they're going to give trouble to people who were flooded, I'm sure. I don't know the answer. I don't know how you beat them. I can't say join them because, unless it's a job, My nephew worked for insurance. They all, for, what do they say, for entertainment only. This is really my experience. I'm not really I'm not really speaking about the company. I am speaking about my experience with it. And that is true. What I wanted to say today, what my guides, and we all have guides, we really have guides. I can't tell you if you have one, can't tell you if it's your Aunt Susan or it's your Uncle Joe. It could be. Supposedly, psychics say that they're not relatives. Other psychics say, yes, they are. Because I didn't get that, because your insurance company, it's too fast. They stink, from my opinion. Just from my opinion. It's really hard to get them to do the right thing. I could have contacted a independent, independent adjuster. Now, they will come out after the insurance company gives you a bunch of crap. They'll come out and they will look at it. And I couldn't do it because it means after you go into the state, it means you would be going, they said, to Superior Court. It's too much for me right now, and I know it. But if you're younger and you have energy, it's, if what you're trying to, if you're trying to get something reasonable and they're just giving you a hard time, it's worth it. Especially if the insurance company is going to have to pay I think what happens is they take a part of the money that you get. I've been upset and eating stuff I should not. So I'm thirsty. Being yourself. it is hard. One of the things that is important is look at what you don't like about yourself. There is always going to be stuff you don't like, and it's like an onion. You go through one thing and you figure out, and you feel the feelings, and it's okay, but it's never the end. There's always going to be more stuff, and I would like it to be where you get to the end and you can celebrate. All I want to do is get as far as I possibly can so that I don't have to come back here. According to Susan Lin, who's on YouTube, she's a terrific psychic, and she's the person I've been studying with. According to her, you can come back and back and back. People want to come to Earth because it's a learning place. It really is. It sucks. Because it's hard. Even if you have a great life, you live in a country that you have freedom and you can vote for who you want. It really is a true vote, not like where Putin, where no matter what you do, he's going to win. Even then, it's hard. Even if you have children and they're little angels, it's going to be hard. It's just life. Life is hard. And you do, according to Susan Lin, we learn lessons. The stuff that, I mentioned my neighbor. We moved in and we have this neighbor who originally was friendly. Well, the guy was never friendly. But the woman was friendly, and I gave the kids gifts for the various holidays. And then one day she said, you need to fix the fence. There's no fence. And I said, well, we just want to fix replace the pieces. There are these pieces that you buy. They're about 10 pieces, and you combine them with a whole bunch of them. It makes a fence. She didn't like that, so she went in and slammed the door. And that started a feud. And her husband threatened to do things, and he pretended he was going to run me over with his what do you call it, his riding mower, and he was going to run into me with his truck, and all this nonsense. So I put in 32 Christmas trees on that side, and that was why I built the garden, really, because who needs that? People, you don't need that. If you have neighbors like that, or anybody down the street, threatening you or making up stories about you, which is another thing, you don't need that. Hopefully you can put in trees, but if they're too expensive, don't worry about it. What I did was, what are they called? The flowers of Saint, wait a minute, they're not flowers. They're called the roses of Sharon. They grow here wild. So I dug up about 1 million of them and I planted them across there, and they're almost weeds, So I planted them right behind the trees, and then I planted whatever the hell I could find in there to block off. I don't need that. Who needs people calling you names? Kids in the street calling you names. Get out of here. It's nonsense. Even if I weren't an old lady, screw that. I don't want that. And you don't either. You don't need it. Even if they're nice people, they did raise 2 children. I think they were decent parents. The kids seemed decent. They work. There are people who have no humanity. I wouldn't say these people. I wouldn't say they're that way. I would just say they were a problem for me. And all the trees blocked them, and that's great. I love that. And I planted a magnolia in the front. And the lady before us didn't like the other lady who's 94, and she planted a line of trees. She didn't make it as obvious as mine, but they're there. And you don't have to, it can be almost anything. You have to find out if, what is it? Oh crap. What's the one that grows and then it keeps on spreading, and it's, I want to say bamboozle. It's not bamboozle. Um, it starts with a B. It's crap. I had to buy some from Oregon and have it delivered, but then I found that it's growing wild at the school down the street. So I pulled my little wagon up and I dug up some, but I had to plant it in a container because it's illegal here. I don't know where I put that. I'm gonna just turn it off. Um, there it goes. Now it's off. Um, yeah, I planted it in a container. It keeps on growing. The what is it? Uh, like I said, it's illegal to grow it to grow it on your property in Delaware, but I don't know if it's like that everywhere. My brother-in-law had it at his houses in Philly. What is it like? It's just like bamboozle. Shoot, it'll come to me and I'll say it. Um, but the best the best thing is a fence, but fences are only 6 feet or 8 feet if you can get away with 8 feet. Um, and a lot of people can't. They're expensive. Fences are really expensive, and they're hard to put up by yourself. So, I can't remember what's the name. I think of raccoons. We had raccoons. We had I said that we had that leak in the kitchen where the water was coming in like a waterfall. What it really turned out was, I think it was the raccoon who made a hole in the roof, because when I went up with the guy who put the new roof on, we had to get a new roof. It's been 18 years. So, and we did patch it. So we had to get a new roof. He went up with me. I wanted to see what was going on in the attic. It's like not really, it's not a place where you can do anything because it's got a sloping roof. So we look and we see this beautiful little animal, not little, beautiful face of a raccoon. And I had to get people to catch it. And I was putting food up there because I couldn't stand the animal starving. And my kids were like, "Mom, you don't feed it," So we have 3 cats. So I love animals, and our dog, she's a German Shepherd mix, supposedly with a Catahoula. She's 15 and a half, but she's got cancer, and she's a little demented. She had a stroke. So I'm not gonna put her down though. I'll just keep cleaning up after her. Maybe get a diaper for her when I take her. We'll see. I can't imagine. Although my daughter-in-law had one for her little dog. I have anyway. All right. So being yourself. When you fight with people, like I did with next door, you have to look at your part. I mean, they saw me as I was the whole thing. I caused it, I did everything. Life isn't like that. It takes two. Um, you may not want to look at your part, but you really should. It's a big deal, and you want to know what's your part. Well, my part is I have a big mouth, and I needed to learn to shut up. When toxic people, and they were toxic, and even if I thought they weren't, when people are yelling at you and they're not making sense, walk away. I know it's hard. I know it's really hard, and you want to curse at them, And luckily I didn't really curse. I don't know how I didn't, but I didn't. Um, what did my husband call him? Not, I want to say shit kicker, but that it was worse than that. And the guy was going to get into a fist fight with my 80-year-old husband, 50-year-old guy or a 45-year-old guy. Like, are you crazy? I don't care what he says, but that's besides the point. Um, when, you know, all my life I would let them have it, and I think people were surprised because I do tend to be really sweet. I mean, why not? If I'm in an office and stuff, and people are nice, I'm interested. If I like their shoes or something, I tell them. I like their dress or whatever. Um, but no, when people start up with me, and maybe it's because I seem so sweet, um, I do let them have it. And sometimes, like this time next door, it's not good. You have people who, when I would walk on their lawn, they would call the police. Not their lawn, I'm sorry. They thought it was their lawn. They thought I planted trees on their lawn, even though it was, whatchamacallit, it was, it has been, what do you call it, when the people come out from the company and surveyors came 3 times and measured it, and it was on my property. They still thought it was theirs, and they still had a lawyer write to me and say it was on their property. And I was going to burn their house down and all that. I would, why would I ever do that? That's not like me. So that's because they didn't know me. But really, you never know. That's the thing. You don't know. These were people unlike people I had met before. And I worked. Is it because they were from Delaware? Is that, I mean, it's right next to Pennsylvania. Is it that far south? I don't know. I don't think it's normal for people to do that. But anyway, my point is that look at yourself and your part in it, even though you know that you didn't start it. These are crazy people. It doesn't matter. They have their own lives to fix. You have yours. And yours is important. You are important. Not them. Who cares? You can't fix them. You. You want to be a happier person, so you have to fix you. You have to work on you. Do you have to meditate? Maybe. You know, that's a great thing to do. You can listen to the meditations on YouTube. I think they're also on other places, and follow them. I did that in the beginning, and I'd like to do it now. Maybe I probably need to. Okay, the same one's coming. Okay. Um, I'm really not giving you examples, and I'd like to. Fighting over, well, when you get married or when you live with somebody, there's a period when you both get along. Everything is beautiful. And then, at a certain point, you start fighting like cats and dogs, really fighting over who washes the dishes, who vacuums, who folds the clothes, how you fold the clothes, that kind of stuff. Who does the food shopping, who changes the diapers, all that stuff. And that's when you really have to look. First off, you have to have quiet time by yourself, which you deserve. And you have to look at yourself and your part in it. What do you want? What are you really after? What would you like to have with the other person? What's your part in not having that? What can you do? And when you feel comfortable, you open up the conversation again. Don't argue when you're already arguing. You don't want to argue anyway. You want to have a conversation where you can talk about it. And when it gets into arguments, you need to go to a different place. And if it means going outside, then go. If it means go sit in the car, go do it. Or, take a walk around the block. That's not easy, but whatever you have to do, you want to get away. I used to go to my studio, and when it was upstairs, my husband's one of those people who used to follow me, following me, and here he's yelling at the door, and it was awful. I don't really know what I did to change it. I guess I didn't open the door. That helps. It's hard. Okay. I invite you to push the buttons. Write to me at, spiritsbyjaynee at gmail.com. I do readings. If you've lost someone to addiction, it's free. If you can't afford my fee, don't worry about it. I'm easy about it. I'm not doing this to make a living. So you just pay what you can, if you can. You can write to me there. Hopefully I will have a website soon. I'm working with people to do it. What else? You can write on here. I have trouble getting the messages. It's really hard. I don't know what the key is to doing it. Something that I can't figure out. But write anything you want to Spirits by Jaynee. I'm a painter, and I did go to school for that, and I think I said that twice already. So if you have questions about art, you certainly can ask me. I taught art for a little bit. I'm on Flickr as Painter Jane, Jayne. That's Flickr, on Flickr, so you can see my artwork on there. It didn't pay me to have a website for it. Okay, so that's it. Thank you. I'm so thrilled to have been able to read a little bit what you wrote. It's a real pleasure. Thank you for listening. I don't know if anybody listening got this far, but thank you. It's a pleasure. It's such a thrill. Okay, thank you. All right, bye-bye now. I shouldn't say bye-bye because I'm not sure I know how to turn it off. Here, live. No, not that. No, not that either. Okay. This? No. Let's see. Not that, not that. Well, I'll get it. Let's see. You're so welcome. Anything I can do, just let me know. I did work. Oh boy. I worked with people in social work and therapeutic recreation. Oh my God, how am I going to turn this? Oh, here we go. There's an X. Thanks. I'm smiling. Thank you again.